Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And I definitely appreciate all of you who responded to my video yesterday. I am really glad that I'm not that far off base with thinking that we should just stay by bad financial decisions and that people are enjoying the type of content that I'm putting out. So thank you for your support, and I really do appreciate it. So this morning, I was at a virtual water cooler, which I go to every Friday morning, and they keep me sane. It's basically my only social interaction I have with other people the entire 7-day period, and they keep me grounded in reality. But I was complaining because I finally introduced my dad to high-income ETFs. I was really nervous about this because I was like, Dad, you're definitely going to just dismiss this out of just in principle of it. But I do think that you should know about this and research into it. And he said, oh, well, send me the information. And I promised to look into it. So I sent him the information, and then he sent the email back. It was basically like, no, we're just going to go into money market funds based on the U.S. government and not lose any money. So I wasn't able to help my dad, but I'd like to talk to you all today about the resources I actually wound up using in the email I sent him to try to persuade him. Also, when I was in that water cooler moment, someone actually asked, what is an ETF? And an ETF is an exchange traded fund. They're like mutual funds, but they're traded like they're a stock, and usually they have smaller fees associated with them, and there's no minimum requirement like you do have with mutual funds. So, in case you also don't know, Vanguard recently announced that they're actually lowering fees on a lot of their funds. But if you don't know what an ETF is, and the person asked if they could buy an ETF on Charles Schwab, and are ETFs based on indexes, they had a lot of questions. So if you know someone that doesn't know anything about investing at all, start with VOO. VOO. V as in Vanguard, 2 O's. And because this is based off of the S&P 500, it's a low-cost fund, and in the end, it is the stock market. So it's probably the most responsible thing where you can start and then branch out from there. At least that's my theory on this is, you could just invest in VOO while you're figuring out everything else, like about bonds and everything. Because even if there is a dip, it's the S&P 500. It's going to recover at some point. So that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. But the first article I sent my dad was this Forbes article, because I figured Forbes is respected, and it's not just like some like I love highincomeetfs.com type thing. So this is just like, what are YieldMax ETFs? Are they safe? Who are they for? How do they work? And I found this was good, except for monthly or quarterly income. It's really just like weekly, every 4 weeks. So I wish that they had that more clearly in there. But yeah, it's not a new concept, but because of the change in the law, they are like one of the forerunners in the industry. So then I sent him the Seeking Alpha article as well about XDTE, because I actually recommended that he look at XDTE, YMAX, SVOL, and JEPI. Because my dad is completely out of the stock market now, and he thinks even T-bills are too risky for him. So I feel like XDTE and JEPI, like things that are the S&P 500 and fund to funds like YMAX, those are the safest things to recommend to people. So Seeking Alpha is also one of those that, people are always recommending it. These are articles by experts. So XDTE's been beating the S&P 500, or like SPY. So that's that. And then, of course, I sent him a retire on dividends YouTube video, because, who else explains this better? So, and then the Income Architect does a really good job and has really good analysis, and I really respect him as, a fellow YouTuber, and he has really good insights. And then Victoria, I listen to her sometimes. She is very risk adverse, and I appreciate that because I am not risk adverse. But she's the reason why I keep saying, like, half of the way that you win in the stock market is to just not lose money. So, like, you limit your downside risk potential and you'll win more. So she has this type of video where, like, it seems like every day she's recommending a new ETF, and I definitely like it. It works for her, and she does really good analysis on all the ETFs that she does do. But I wouldn't want, for me, to fall into the trap of having to recommend a new ETF every week, because it seems I would rather click into a YouTuber for the most part where I know what the recommendation is. Like, oh, I'm going to click on this person, they're going to recommend SoFi, they're going to recommend AMD, they're going to recommend whatever it is they're recommending, and unless there's like something catastrophic happening, like you know what they're going to recommend. And you all know I have an affinity for strategy, specifically MSTUI, MSTU, but I try to reel back my enthusiasm and recommend sane things like XDTE. So then I sent him my total real returns. This isn't my website, but totalrealreturns.com, and I'm not sponsored, and I use their website often, but I really love their growth of $10,000. I can just come down here and look, because if you can beat the S&P 500 VOO, then you're doing pretty good. And some of the arguments I used for my dad for investing in high income ETFs are there are certain conditions in the economy that, as someone that's going to retire, he has to worry about. One of which is hyperinflation. And being in something like XDTE or YMAX or any of these, except for I do not particularly like TLTW, and I can get into that a little bit later. But XDE, YMAX, JEPI, and SVOL for hyperinflation, what's going to happen, at least as far as my understanding, is all the prices of everything is going to increase, but that increases the profits from the company. The company's value increases, and so volatility is also probably going to be high. So your income has a chance of keeping up with inflation. So that's why I would be in a hype. Like, it would be good to get in now, and then if all of a sudden, the company's price is 10x, then your shares are worth a lot of money, but you're not selling because it also gets you a lot of income. And in the situation where it becomes super hyperinflation, like, nobody's salary is a good salary anymore. Everybody's going to need a little bit of extra income. So then another market situation that, a retiree has to be wary of is a complete market crash. And these funds pay you on the way down. They keep rolling their options all the way to the bottom. And so even though the initial crash will be kind of devastating to your principal, you should be getting a pretty good payout the next week for XDTE. And so, and then as it recovers, you're still getting paid. So it helps smooth out that volatility, and you will still be getting something. And, it's just my opinion that, be in these high income ETFs, and if the absolute worst thing happens, then you just rely on Social Security. You are going to be relying on Social Security anyway, so you may as well, spend $20,000 to get the extra $1,000 a month so that you're not anxious about money anymore. So, then I gave him the drip calc so that he could do his own numbers on how we think YMAX is going to work. And then I actually linked him to YieldMax. So, hopefully he doesn't realize this is me. Hi, Dad. So, yeah, and you all know this by now, but, if you have $60 for the week and you say, actually, what I sent him was, if you put $20,000 into YMAX, you would get an extra $1,000 a month. And, when you're retired, an extra $1,000 a month is a big deal. But in order to get an extra $1,000 a month on 4%, that's like $300,000. And as an aside, that's probably why my dad wants me to work 3 jobs and work until I'm 80. Because if I had to earn $300,000 in order to get $1,000 a month, then yeah, I'm probably nowhere near retirement. But you all know me. I'm like, I've got, $50,000 and it's all in Misty. And, like, if I had to choose between getting $3,000 a month and, $2,000 a month, like, I'm risk on right now, but I'm also not retirement age. My dad and my parents are closing in on retirement age, and so I understand that they're more conservative and people are on different paths in their journey, but it seems like if you could do with $20,000 what traditionally it would take $300,000 to do, that it would be a wise thing to do while, you're at the beginning of your retirement, and that's to protect the rest of your money from having to be spent. Because, this $20,000 that you put into YMAX, if it gets obliterated, like there's a stock market crash, YMAX falls, okay, well, hopefully it's not until 2 years from now when you would have gotten all of your money back. And then, you'll have the money that you have in your money market accounts and Social Security. So you're not that much worse off with having spent the $20,000 to get $1,000 per month to just help you with your budget. So, yeah, people are just, this really opens up the door to my dad also lecturing me on how he thinks I should be doing my money. And he is way, 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 way more conservative than me. And everybody's just very quick to tell each other how they should spend their money, but nobody knows what your goals are except for you, and what your goals are, what your strategy is, what outcomes you want. It's all up to you. It's called personal finance for a reason. It's personal. But maybe this could help someone who is not my dad. And I will link these resources in the description down below. And I guess, finally, we're going to talk about financial philharmonics. And so the first thing we published this morning was always Microstrategy to me, because change is bad, okay? And then Just a Little Leverage is a comedy hip-hop where, we're just using some 2 and 3x leverage in our funds to get just that little spice in our life. And then Cover Calls After Falls is influenced by Believe by Cher. And so do you have the conviction to keep rolling your calls or putting out cover calls even if there's a fall in the market? So anyways, I usually have a question for you all, but where did you get your start in investing? Did you start with VU and work from there, or were you in some mutual funds first? And how did you first get interested in investing? And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.